TJ Miller does not have a website.com. Best website name ever. You realize that, right?
I think so. I mean, it's definitely the person that wanted to charge me $2,000 in like 2004 for the website tjmiller.com probably feels pretty stupid. He should have probably taken the 800 that I offered. Or less. I don't even remember. That was so funny. He's like, I'm the only one that has it. You have to get it from me. And I was like, I don't think you know how search engines work.
Well, everybody had the scam up, right? Everybody, the loans.com, everybody, very famous story. Loans.com, and then it turned into like millions of dollars and the whole bark, wolf, wolf. And then what did they used to call that? There was a name for it where they would, was it like homesteading or something? Where they would go and they would steal the name.
Homesteading feels like a very country rock music station way of putting it. But yeah, they would sort of sit on the, domain hoarding or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just sort of buy everything and then try and I think they made that illegal or something.
Yeah, at some point, can I ask you, if you're getting a chance to see the video of this, you have to explain the wonderful hat you're wearing.
So my friend, this guy, Dustin Chafin, is so funny. And he's a comic and I've toured with him everywhere. And he's sort of a liberal cowboy, used to be kind of his shtick, sort of. And then he used to wear a cowboy hat on stage. And then I'd say in the last few years, he stopped doing that. He just wears a baseball cap. And he said, I've kind of moved on from the cowboy aesthetic thing. And so now I'm just wearing a hat. And then I saw this online and it is half baseball cap, half cowboy hat. I mean, isn't that hilarious? And so I bought it for him. I wore it because I came in from New York City, so I had to wear it because I didn't want it to get damaged. And my wife said, dude, you should get one of this. And you should get me one also. And I was like, what are you talking about? It looks insane, I think. What do you think?
It is so mind melding that
it's so
works
weird.
In the weirdest way. It works. I mean, if you were to see a guy out like that, there's no way that you're not looking at that hat. There's just no way. It's like seeing someone in a bowler, right? If you see someone in a bowler, you're like, I've got to look.
Right.
I've got to take a look at it.
That's great. That's so funny. I don't know. I think the one thing that I think is funny about it is when you would see a guy wearing something like this, do you go up and talk to him? Do you think does this seem like a guy you'd want to talk to or a guy that you'd avoid?
You would want to talk to that guy because this is a guy who's not thinking in the linear way. This is a guy who's stepping outside of the comfort zone and going, that's right, I've got a cowboy baseball hat.
A cowboy baseball cap. Who even could imagine? But yeah, look, I'm wearing it for this, for the station, for the interview on KRTY Country. Legendary country.
Legendary, because that means we've just been doing it an awfully long time.
I think it's great. I'm fascinated by the fact that you guys sort of said, enough of this terrestrial radio tower thing, let's take it online. And here we are.
Well, and it's worked because we've been here forever. And it's just been, I've been doing the morning show here in 1991. I worked here before it was called Silicon Valley, which is kind of, it's kind of weird having TJ Miller in Silicon Valley. I mean, does that always feel weird to you?
It does feel weird. What was I joking about? Last time I was at the San Jose Improv, it's interesting because San Jose kind of, when people got priced out of San Francisco, then they went to San Jose. And then when the pandemic happened, everybody said, well, I can live anywhere. And so they left to go to wherever, Tahoe and Austin also. So there was a couple years where in San Jose, everyone knew who I was because they all were Silicon Valley people. And then post-pandemic, my audiences are like largely Hispanic. But it's back to
you and Carlos Mencia and Gabriel Iglesias all sharing the same audience.
Just three of us. No, but it's kind of gotten back to more just people who live in San Jose. But it's interesting. I love the crowds out here, and I went back to playing San Francisco a couple years ago, but for a long time I wouldn't play San Francisco because I just felt they didn't have a sense of humor about themselves. And I don't like performing for people who are too self-serious or take themselves seriously or don't like it if you make fun of their city. That's not funny. That's not okay. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I remember years ago I went to see this comedian Greg Proops, who's a genius.
Oh, I know
So
Greg
funny.
Proops. Very funny.
And
Whose line is it anyway? Forever.
Yeah, forever. And just such a brilliant comedian. And his podcast is great. And so I went to go see him, and his podcast is called The Smartest Man in the World. I went to go see him, and he opened the set like I now do often, kind of making fun of Denver and just sort of making fun of the people and these idiots and your people mover, and everybody in Denver needs an escalator or a moving walkway because they don't like to move their legs, whatever, all this stuff. And he's doing it and it's not going very well. And then some guy yelled out, like, quit ragging on Denver. It basically just quit making fun of Denver. And I thought that was so interesting because as a person, I was like, yeah, you came to our town. Why are you making fun of us? And then his response to the heckler was, don't you understand? I like your city. Otherwise, I would have spent time figuring out how to make fun of it. Like I love
Smartest guy in the room, right there.
I'm here, and I came here to perform for you. I'm here. I've spent actual time making fun. So, and that was really interesting because then I remembered my mother has talked to me about this before, but my father's way, yours might be the same. My father's way of sort of showing affection is making fun of someone. So he'll sort of tease my mother, and that's kind of how, and she knows that means that he loves her and is paying attention to her and thinking about her. And so it took me a long time to not do that with my wife, but she's very happy that I no longer do that with her.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be, and I'm going to probably make you borderline uncomfortable right now. I am fascinated.
I hope so. I'm wearing half of a cowboy hat.
I am fascinated by yours and your wife relationship. I love it when you talk about it. I love it when you bring it up. I love it when you sit back and you do the Greg and an egg and all the bits. And when you talk about how your wife and she like looks at you and goes, dude, and that you've known each other since college. Was it a did you know, or was it after a while it was like, oh my God, I think we're in love?
I think, yeah, I mean, I guess I would say it was sort of love at first sight. I was dating somebody else. I think she was dating somebody else, but I just looked at her and I was just like, oh my God, like what the heck is wrong with this girl? Why is she so pretty and sweet? But she was pretty quiet. And when we sort of knew is the first time that we really interacted, we were in the musical chorus line together. She played the ballerina and I played the black guy. Yeah.
You played the black what?
It's true. Yeah. So she was Maggie the ballerina and I was Richie the black character. And I remember I got that job. I got that part in the college play. And I remember being like, wait, this is for a black man. She goes, well, just you're kind of one of those guys that grew up from, in an urban area and you kind of want to be black. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, it'll be fine. And I was like, okay.
Which is a quintessential Denver experience.
Yeah, well, but actually I went to a high school that was primarily black and Latino.
Uh-huh.
And so I really did kind of go, yeah, I guess I can do that. That's what a strange thing. But we went to one of the meetings for the director, and it was all these kids, everybody in the play. So it was about, 20 or 25 people. And while the director was talking to us, I had a bagel with strawberry cream cheese. And I silently kind of offered her some. And she was like, okay, yeah. So she goes to, and she ate a little bit and she passed it back to me. And then I ate a little bit and I passed it back to her. It was so cute. And it just went back and forth trying to be the last person. So it got down to where the bagel was just like the tiniest thing or thing. And so that was very, that was very fun. And I think immediately we talk about that. We sort of immediately knew everything we needed to know about one another from that. Um, and
Well, shoot,
so,
well, you
yeah,
guys have been through so much. I mean, not to harp on it. I mean, you've had brain surgery, you've had all this stuff, and that's why I'm fascinated by it, because you guys have been on a journey. Now, I do want to ask you this, and I bring this up. Your voice is so distinct. Matter of fact, this interview is the only one that my son ever wanted to skip school to be here for, which I didn't let him do, by the way. Right?
my voice is so familiar that I can wear glasses, tinted glasses, and a half a cowboy hat, and people still
And
know who I am. Yeah.
And when did you know? And I asked that. Because I used to work with a guy who worked with George Carlin in radio, right? Back when George Carlin was a DJ. And he goes, George Carlin was telling him that he knew his voice was different than everybody else's by the time he was 10 years old. He knew it was different. How about you? Were you aware of it even as a younger age? Or is it something that people just go, man, your voice is so cool?
It still blows my mind when people say, like, I knew from the voice, because my voice doesn't sound different to me. And, some people say, well, then I heard my voice in the voicemail and I was so embarrassed. I, I still, if I hear my voice I watch my own stand up and stuff, it just doesn't seem that recognizable to me. It just doesn't. I know it sounds I know it's very gruff. I have a theory about why people like my voice so much, but yeah, it's very, very strange and I can wear a mask in the airport and a cap and a regular cap, not a cowboy cap, and and glasses. And then as soon as I speak, people will be like, I knew it was you. So they really,
What's the theory? Can you share that, or is that part of a bit, or what?
No, of course. So, first of all, thank you to clove, cigarettes, and marijuana. That's a big part of it. Primarily cloves. When I was a goth teenage girl back in the day.
Before you were a black guy in a chorus line.
Yeah, exactly. Smoking cloves outside of a Hot Topic at the local Cherry Creek Mall. So you're fun, man. So I think that Americans like that sort of gruff, gravelly voice because it reminds them of sort of pioneer days. There's that identity of the Marlboro Man and the sort of the guy that's on the outside doing his thing. We saw Beetlejuice 2 days ago. My wife and I did her yesterday. Who knows? And we were just laughing so much, and then I started doing an impression of him. And it just reminded me that, like, anyone gonna talk like this is really a lot of fun. There's something about it, I think, that's very American. I think there's something very American about my voice. And then also, I kind of can be a little sing-songy, and so it all kind of comes together to work pretty well. But I love voiceover. And so it was so cool when that started happening. But the first job that I got, like real job, was in voiceover, was How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
And so, and that was a Viking. Yeah. And so I was a Viking kid. So that kind of made sense that my voice would sort of, and then from there, I think people came to understand that, like, oh, it could be softer, like in the Emoji Movie, or it could be really excitable and caring, like Big Hero 6. And so, yeah, I've done a couple of movies that are very much that. It's strange now to meet people who watched, How to Train Your Dragon and the TV show and all that stuff, because that was a while ago now. And so I'll meet people who say, I love that show when I was a kid, and they're like 18 now or something, or they're just like in college. So it's very interesting that I sort of occupy, and then they'll say, and I just watched Deadpool, or I started watching Silicon Valley. So it's interesting that I bridge those sort of gaps generationally. And I feel my favorite thing that happened to me once was I went across the street to get a drink while Kate was doing something. And this guy came over to me and goes, I'm such a big fan of yours and my family could you come say hi to my twin daughters? Because they love How to Train a Dragon. Yes, of course. So I go over there, and he says, these are my daughters, my twin daughters. They both love How to Train Your Dragon. And one of them loved the TV show and the other one loved the movie. And then the guy's wife was like, and I just love Office Christmas Party. It's just my favorite. And he goes, see, I told you, my family was big fans. And then his wife goes, oh, BS. You're a big fan too. He was watching She's Out of My League last night. And I said, no, come on, really? She goes, he was. He really, really was. And the guy's like, no, I wasn't. No, And I just thought about it. I was like, wow, I took care of that whole table. That whole family. I made that whole family laugh. And so because of that, I'm like, yeah, I think I did my job. So I love that I kids and adults and R-rated films and G-rated films and all that stuff.
Well, exactly right, because that's the demarcation line. I mean, for me, I watched the Deadpool movie and absolutely flipping out hilarious. But my son, I wasn't going to let him watch it. Wasn't ready for the F-bombs that time. But so he fell in love Big Hero 6. That was the thing. And the Emoji Movie. I don't know why kids love the Emoji Movie. Adults, not so much. But kids love the Emoji Movie. And for me,
just
it was
adults of a certain intelligence.
Fair, and I may have fallen below the line. I completely agree on that.
It's time to think differently when it comes to your parties, meetings, and groups. The catering from Havana Cuba restaurant in downtown San Jose. Instead of the same old, how about the most delicious Cuban sandwich you've ever had? You're tired of fries? Plantains, my friends, they'll change your world. And here's something you didn't know. Havana Cuba was voted one of the top 10 tamales in the entire South Bay. They have vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options, and their website is 998cuba.com. They're located at 387 South 1st Street in downtown San Jose. It's Havana, Cuba. Let's talk relationships. Scary, huh? My friend Stephanie Flood can help. She's offering a video series that'll help you reconnect. You can do it by yourself or together. Shows a kinder and gentler way of interacting with your partner, and that can lead to them responding the same way. And Steph is offering a 100% money-back guarantee if you follow the steps and it doesn't improve the lines of communication. That's not all. Go to afloodoflove.com today, enter the promo code Gary to get a 20% discount off the video series. It's afloodoflove.com.
But my theory on your voice is you, at the risk of sounding silly, sound friendly. You sound friendly and you sound warm. Even like in the stand-up, that I love the Dear Jonah. I love it. And you guys have got to watch it.
Thanks, man. It's great. It is so fun.
And it is. And your ability to go from one thing to the next. And you've told the story about Jonah, and you guys have watched it, and you'll see it's a developmentally disabled man or challenged who's a big fan. And your interactions with him, and then with Trevor, who gets to be the villain of the piece, along with the lady who do the airport bit, because it's so friendly, you can bark at her or say stuff and nobody gets offended, which is such a gift.
Well, thanks for saying so. And I actually think,
because she laughed. Did you see her laugh and go, oh,
she
I didn't mean it. She
loved it. I feel as though I come off as really friendly because I am, ultimately a very kind person. Uh-huh. So people can kind of tell that I'm not really mean to anybody. I'm not really making fun of everyone. And I overthink it. I made fun of this young comedian at this festival in Las Vegas, I guess 2 weeks ago. And I kind of made fun of him because he said something to me a while ago that was like, I thought it was kind of a move. Mm-hmm. What he said. And so I sort of went in there and sort of made fun of him. And the joke was, I wouldn't say it's vicious, but it was like pretty hard edged. And then I talked about it in other shows the whole time about how I regretted that. And next time I see him, I'm going to sort of say to him, hey man, I just went over the line with that one. Because I get in my head that I don't want anybody to feel bad. It's not interesting to me to be mean to anybody, to have anybody feel bad. And I think you're right. I can really, there's a lot of stuff I don't put online because it's me barking at or yelling at someone, which out of context, what might sound really mean. Yeah. But in the actual room, when I'm doing it, everybody knows it's fun. They know I'm joking around. The woman or the guy is kind of like, oh, geez. And a big thing that I do is when I'm in a show and I get somebody who's annoying, whether it's a guy or a girl, it's usually a girl, whether it's a guy or it's almost always a girl, okay, then I sort of become the person that can say, like, shut up. And you get all these other guys and girls going, that's great. He can say it, I can't.
Mhm.
I'm the person that you want to yell at in the line at the grocery store or at the bar who's yelling, it's my birthday. You don't get to yell at them. So it's really cathartic for me to be able to be the person that does that.
And I think it works. It goes back to your voice. I mean, there's certain people who could say things to you and they get away with it, right? And you think it's funny. And that's why you get so much voice at work. And you're such a good actor. I think you're tremendously underrated as an actor. And I would have given you a Critics Award, Choice Awards for Yogi 3D too. I would have.
There you go. Underseen. Everybody goes, they'll go, oh, I love She's Out of My League, man. It's the best. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. I think it's great because it is. It's a great movie. And then they'll go, I mean, it's the most underrated movie. And I was like, what do you think about it? That's great. Well, it's a pretty high rating. I think you mean it's underseen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right. It's like some people are pretty underseen. But I mean, I'm very happy with my rating as an actor in the sense that there aren't a lot of bad things about any of my work that's happened. Even the Emoji Movie, it's like people pay on the movie, but the casting still was great. You know, it's like Stephen Wright and Jennifer Coolidge. So I mean, I'm so lucky. How many people can say that they really haven't been in a bad movie? There's only one movie I've been in that I haven't seen, and that's Underwater. But I don't think I'll ever see that.
Listen, you have been so generous for your time. Well, you can also get his peanut butter and his hot sauce.
Soon, my half cowboy hat.
The cowboy cap. Because there's no other way of calling it. It's just the cowboy cap.
I never even imagined something could exist like this. And you're right, it is a mind meld.
It is. And I can't tell you, I heard you talk about your next thing about the Philosopher's Circus. And I cannot wait for that. I had no idea you could juggle 5 balls. None. And the fact that you know how to not only walk on stilts, but can teach it is amazing to me.
It's going to be really fun. Yeah, we just locked a picture on that special. And but come see me live. That's we didn't even get to talk about, but my favorite thing is improvisation.
Yeah.
And so when you come and you see me live at any stand-up show, if you come tonight to a show and then come Saturday night, there'll be 2 completely different shows. I mean, there'll be very little overlap because I improvise so much. And that's my favorite thing, especially right now, is like go and see live stuff. We're all in our screens, Androids, and but we're streaming. We're just
it's just a different energy, isn't it?
Put your phone down and come and see a show. It's really, really, really fun to see something live. And all the time I get people come to me after the show. That was amazing. This is my first time. I go, oh, your first time seeing me live? They go, no. My first time ever seeing a stand-up show. I go, what did you think of it? And they go, it was the best. It was the greatest. I go, yeah, get with the picture. It's one of the most fun things you can do. All those people say, oh, I'm coming back this month. So come and see a live stand-up show. It'll be the best thing you've done.
It gets addictive. Once you see it live, it's hard. I'll say it's hard to watch it on TV because you're not feeling the energy in the room and you're not feeling everything that's going around. And that's what makes it, because you watch a performer like yourself and you're looking for the opportunity, right? And that's what you feel when you're in the room. It's you finding that opportunity. You're the shark in the water looking for the injured guppy.
Yeah. It is true. The injured guppy sounds pretty malicious, but yes. No, it's fine. And people get to go, geez, what did I wear today? Is he going to talk about what I'm wearing? And so it's so fun.
TJ Miller does not have a website. It is. And you have to wear it on stage. You absolutely have to now. I mean, because you don't have to keep it on, but I think you have to walk out and go, hi, y'all. This is me in Silicon Valley.
What in the hell is this? Can anyone even imagine why a person would buy something like this?
Dude, think about it. That represents you. Born in Colorado, lives in New York. I'm just saying.
I'm with it. This
TJ,
is so
you're
funny.
the
I love
best.
that we got I love that we got my micro hotel in here also. This is how I showed up. I flew in.
They
I
decided not to put you in the suite, didn't they?
yeah. Now I got to the hotel at what was it, 3 a.m. I had to do the whole thing. Oh, it was really something. But here we go. It's when you're a jet setter, sometimes you just gotta, go with the micro hotel. That's right. I'm actually sharing this with 3 other people. So, but they're all voiceover actors, so that when we snore, it kind of makes this beautiful medley.
Oh my God, you're the best. You're absolutely best. I have to.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't end this without you saying at least hello to my son Jackson, because I want to. I'm not the father of the year, but I don't want to be the worst guy of the year.
Jackson, it's TJ Miller, Gene Meh from the Emoji Movie, and Fred from Big Hero 6. Science, yeah. And I want to say hello. I want to tell you that your father is one of the sweetest, just funniest, coolest dads. He's a liar. He lies constantly. If he's ever told you that he loves you, I wouldn't trust it. I would believe it, but I wouldn't trust it. Okay, Jackson. All right. But I would just want to say hello.